Hike the trail? Check. Order takeout? Check. Schedule heart checkup? Done. We've all adapted to a new way of living. Keep your healthcare on schedule with Johns Hopkins Medicine, where your health and safety are our highest priorities. We're ready to care for you through virtual and in-person visits across Maryland and the greater Washington region. Your health, our experts, safely caring for you. Schedule your care now. Learn more at hopkinsmedicine.org/safe. Hike the trail? Check. Order takeout? Check. Schedule heart checkup? Done. We've all adapted to a new way of living. Keep your healthcare on schedule with Johns Hopkins Medicine, where your health and safety are our highest priorities. We're ready to care for you through virtual and in-person visits across Maryland and the greater Washington region. Your health, our experts, safely caring for you. Schedule your care now. Learn more at hopkinsmedicine.org/safe.
Welcome to the Stephen Shiels radio show. I've got a guest speaker from Insight Timer named Liza Colpa. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Very good. I've done your meditation course on Insight Timer called Manifesting a Happy and Healthier Life. Tell everyone your preparation for that and what was involved for you.
My preparation for that was most likely a life a life preparation of practicing yoga and meditation daily and using those tools to manifest a life for myself. Changing narratives from my family's past, from my own past, and recognizing there's more to this life. There's more to just sometimes what we see right in front of us. So in that sense, the whole preparation for the course was pretty much my own practice, my own work on myself, and then recognizing that those tools can help others.
You mentioned in the course as well about setting goals as well. Have you always set goals for yourself?
Yes.
Yep. And I've been doing goal setting myself. And do you find when you set goals, do they work or do they work in different ways for you?
I think when you set a goal, an intention for yourself, and you really ask yourself, what do I want? And how will this serve me? And how will this serve others around me? Even if you don't necessarily hit the goal in the way you wanted to, a lot of good comes from it. A lot of growth comes from it. I think there's a saying, if you shoot for the stars, you'll land on the moon. So even if you set a goal that doesn't happen to work out in exactly the way you planned, it always has a way of working out in a way that you need. It's kind of like you always get what you need.
And your preparation with Insight Timer, how did you come across Insight Timer?
I always wanted to move online, and I didn't really know how to do it. It was something out of my 200-hour teacher training where I felt that yoga is a great tool online just because it can reach so many different people. And so one day I was teaching a yoga class. I just moved to Queens with my partner, and I was teaching in Brooklyn. And this girl at the end of class said, you should really go on Insight Timer. And I knew Insight Timer when Insight Timer was this tiny little bell of an app that just timed you to meditate, and that was that. And she said, well, now they're yoga teachers. So one night in January 2019, I was very big on manifesting things for myself, and I sat and I did a meditation and I recorded it, and then I uploaded it, not thinking much of it, not knowing really about how the platform was evolving, not knowing how many people would listen to it or how many people would even serve. And it just so happened that I think it was 2 months later, I was at a cafe and I was having a really rough day, and something kept saying, look at your Insight Timer, look at your Insight Timer. And I looked at my Insight Timer and I saw such positive feedback and such a beautiful community. And it made me feel really welcome to start the practice of, building an online business. So for me, that's when I really dove on into Insight Timer, using it as a tool to share my practice and connect with others.
Yeah, Insight Timer has come a very long way. I've used it for a couple years. I'm enjoying it as well. I created a group called the Law of Attraction on it. So it's I've got some members for it. Been practicing some of your work as well. But with manifestation, has manifesting come true for you in your life?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has. It has in many beautiful and different ways.
Mm-hmm. Have you found it's been a long process for you?
Good question. I believe in divine timing.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain things that manifested that came a lot sooner than I expected, that
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect them to manifest that quickly. And there are certain things that I expected it to manifest a lot faster, but it kind of manifested exactly when it needed to. So when it comes to timing, and I talk a little bit about that in my course, the energy of trust comes into play, where you really, really have to allow yourself to trust the process, trust the journey. So for me, I feel everything came in exactly when it was meant to. If anything, it came in faster than I even thought it was. That thought was possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, it's something I've been looking into for the last year. I've created my own vision board as well. Have you used a vision board in your life?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I think I have two vision boards.
Mm-hmm.
Two vision boards. Maybe I want to create another one. That's why I'm saying three, but I have two vision boards. One where I used to live, and then one in my new space.
And is this something that you look at every day, or is it something you pull out every now and again?
It's something that I place where I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
So my vision board now currently is in my yoga room right above my work desk.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I go to work, whenever I go to record a meditation or work on a project, I see the vision board right in front of me. And it's incredible how psychologically impactful vision boards are, specifically when you're seeing them consistently. So I feel no matter where you put it, if you can see your vision board somewhere consistently all the time without even trying, then that's the perfect space for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I created my vision board on my computer. Every now and again I look at it, and I've got music for it as well. Maybe it's something I've got to look at every day. I've got to look into that as well. And you teaching yoga on YouTube. I've seen your website. It is pretty good. I like it. And I saw you had like a little manifestation book that people can download. What was the goal for that? And how did you come up with the idea to write like a little journal for people?
So I met with a mentor who is very good with pretty much mixing yoga meditation and letting wellness leaders know you can make this sustainable. You can make this a business in an ethical and beautiful way that doesn't, do anything to hurt your spiritual practice. So in that, she said, in creating your online course, or more importantly, your website, why don't you give a little thank you gift for those who sign up to your email list? Because I think a lot of people underestimate the power of the email list, specifically when you're just starting out. Because if someone signs up to your email list, they're pretty much telling you, it's more than a follow, it's more than a like. They're like, I am interested in what services you have to offer. I'm curious about what you're doing. I'm curious about how you're doing, and I want to get that in my email along with my boss's my boss's emails, or my great Aunt Sally who just figured out the Google. And I just was like, what could I give? What could I possibly offer to people as a thank you? And I was working a lot with different manifestation journals. There was the legendary planner, a few planners that I had that were really associated with manifestation. And I was like, why don't I just create like a little book for fun with some of the questions that all these journals asked me? And I kind of cultivated it all together. And so it's this 1 year little pamphlet that people can download, and they can check in a year later to see, how did I do on my goals? What manifested? What do I want to work on? How do I want to make next year better? And it was just a little thank you for those who were willing to come along this journey with me.
No, it looks pretty good. It looks well done. It looks very appealing to the eyes as well because I had a look, and I've done goal setting too. I'm brand new to goal setting. Do you recommend to do goal setting once a month, or what? How do you approach your goal setting?
My goal settings are like onions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an onion. It starts out maybe with yearly goals that I want to complete within the year. So currently right now I have a goal that I wish, or a few goals that I wish to manifest within this 1 year. And for this specific year, one of my goals within goals was to push the limits of my imagination a little bit more and see how far I could go. So when it came to goals in career or finances, that's something that I tend to lower the bar, because it's almost like I have that narrative of, I just want to see how far I can go. I'm still very new at this. I just want to see how far. I want to keep it simple so I don't get overwhelmed. This year, I'm a little bit more confident, so I want to really push the level, push the bar, and see how far I'm willing to go with my career and finance goals. And so I have those, but I also have relationship goals. I have friendship goals. I have self-care goals. I want to get into cooking. So that's all yearly goals. And then within those yearly goals, I have monthly goals. And then I have weekly goals. And weekly goals are very simple. Just like, I have to do this within this week, or I have to finish this project within this 2-week period. And then for the monthly goals, it's a little bit bigger, where it's like, were you able to, cook for yourself 5 times out of the week? Like, that was one of your goals. Or were you willing to, take time to call your friend and have an hour FaceTime chat once a week? So in that sense, it's these goals that we create for ourselves come in many different layers, and there's no exact science to it. It's more of a feeling and a knowing of what works for you, and a knowing of yourself, and a willingness to explore.
Yeah, I've explored a bit of Tony Robbins as well. Some of Bob Proctor's work. They're alright. I'm more like listening to the old people like Napoleon Hill on Audible. Got like 16 hours of it, and Earl Nightingale as well. So that's what I've found as help. I've read Think and Grow Rich twice. I might read it again actually. Have you? What books have you explored? You're an entrepreneur, are you?
I am. I am. As I say that, like, yes, I am. I am an entrepreneur. The books that call to me and that I'm currently reading are, my favorite go-to book forever will always be Gabrielle Bernstein's The Universe Has Your Back. I love that book. That book just speaks to me in a way of, she has this way of, in her writing, of really tuning me as an individual into that energy that kind of connects us all within this world. So that's what I love about that particular book. So that book really helped with my manifestation goals. But I also love Lisa Nichols' Abundance Now. And I also just like simple financial planning books that are just very how to invest in your IRA, how to, save a specific amount a month. And I love those two just because amidst all the magic that we have in terms of spirituality and meditation, there is a lot of practicality that comes into it too. And for that, I love Chris Hogan's Everyday Millionaire. I think it's what it's called. So yes.
What's an IRA? Because I'm in Australia. I've never heard of that.
An IRA is a retirement fund.
We call that superannuation over here. But I see it's the same thing. Yeah. No, yes. That's pretty good. Yeah, I suppose, speaking of finances too, I've noticed lately, or here too in Australia, they want everyone to be using like Afterpay and Zip Pay and all that. They want people to live in debt. I've had debt. I've had credit card debt. Went to the bank, closed it. But one day I was going to buy a new pair of glasses, and she was like, "Oh no, we don't take labor. I want you to use Afterpay." I was like, "No, I just want to pay it outright." Is it the same thing where you are in New York?
Here we go. So when it comes to credit card systems, debt systems, where you are borrowing money from yourself in the future, I feel at the end of the day, personally, I feel I've had my own struggle and battle with debt. In the United States, there is an immense student loan debt crisis. And it's a crisis because individuals gave kids an absorbent amount of loans, student loans, that they used for school, knowing most likely that those kids, even if they were top surgeons, were going to take years to pay that back. So the student loan businesses would constantly be getting money fed to them. And I personally feel that is sad and unethical when it comes to one wanting to better their life and better their education. So already in the United States, we have this idea about debt is normal. Credit card debt is absolutely normal, and it's okay, and everyone is in debt. And I personally believe that it is, I hate to say it, but I'm going to put it bluntly, a modern form of a very, very mild slavery. And it's a financial slavery. It's the modern financial slavery. It's owing this organization something that you don't know. And currently, right now, during the pandemic, our government was fighting over simply giving people $600 out of relief in the United States. And I personally feel that to be begging for $600 for people who are in an extreme amount of debt, who have mortgages, who have children, who have food to put on the table, we have created a crisis for ourselves, not knowing that we were playing into the hands of those who benefit from this debt. So I personally feel, going off that long tangent, that the best way to get out of the game is to, like you did, not play it. Just say, nope, I want to buy it with cash. Thank you very much. And that's it. And try your best to get out of debt and get off the credit card payroll, because I always feel like it's just a way for someone to suck you in. That being said, I think there are benefits to credit cards, and there's different, strokes for everyone, but that's my personal philosophy for myself.
I know in the States, I think it's American Express, and is there another one called Visa, MasterCard are very popular over there. We have them here in Australia, but the fees are so high. Is it true that they give 18-year-old students just send it in the mail over there randomly?
Correct. When I graduated from college, I was just starting out. My career was just starting out. The credit card, people say, oh, you're a student. Here's a student credit card, interest-free for a year. And if you spend $10,000 on this credit card, we will give you $200 or $300 cash back. And it almost feels like, to a student who's, let's be for real, most of us when we're students, if we get a job, we're just starting out, and you don't have a lot of money. So when you get $10,000 for free, it's almost this temptation, specifically for people of color. It's this huge, in the United States particularly, it's this huge temptation to say, wait a minute, like, I can finance my life with this borrowed money, and once I get on my feet, I can pay this back. Once the interest kicks in, it's almost like a game. It's almost like it's very, very hard to pay that back in the way that you originally planned, unless you're extremely disciplined and unless you have extreme vision with it. That's my personal take.
Yeah, because when I went to close mine down, the bank didn't even want to do it. They just stomped me off, So then I went down. I think it was another branch, probably 10 minutes down the road, and they did it, but I was not very happy about that,
Well, the bank is out here because they're on your paycheck. They're constantly getting, $200 a month, $300 a month, $400 or $100 or $50 a month, and they're doing that with millions of people, not just one person, but multiply what you owe by millions, and they're on your payroll, and that's it, and you're their employer, whether you realize it or not, in that sense. So yeah, they don't want you to close it. When I closed my countdown, they were also, oh, well, you can open up a new account if you don't, and this is a better interest rate, and this will give you more points for travel. And I'm just like, no, it's all good. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, yes.
No, but yeah, so it's the same thing too in Australia as well. Debt has become the new normal here with Zip Pay, Afterpay. I don't know. There's all sorts. It's just become another business.
Correct.
You know, but with did you study a college degree? Yes.
I did.
What did you major in?
I majored in theater, performance, and film.
Yep. I did classical music. I did a Bachelor of Music. When you went to your college, what college did you graduate from, Lisa?
I graduated from Wagner College in Staten Island, New York.
Mm-hmm. 4-year degree?
4-year degree.
Yep. And did you come out with student loan debt, or did you have a scholarship with your degree?
For my degree, and I could have been so much worse, but for my degree, I came out with a $40,000 student loan debt.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was terrified because, as you know, as an artist, as a performer, you're kind of expecting, if you're really lucky, you'll get this beautiful work that will sustain you and pay off that debt immediately. But for the other flip side of that is you'll be gigging it. You'll just be going from gig to gig to gig, and there will be dry times, and then there will be abundant times. So with that, I was terrified because student loan companies don't care about any of that. They don't care about your story. They don't care about your dreams. They more care about the idea of, well, we need our money now. You graduated, you took it, that's it. So I had to figure out ways of getting that in. My family, thank God, I have a support system, paid that off and helped me very much. But my own credit card debt and living from credit card to credit card was something that I had to handle completely on my own, and getting out of that financial debt cycle, which was the ability, once you get out of that, I was able to save money. And once you're able to save money, it's like such a relief, such a beautiful thing, because then you're like, oh my gosh, like I actually am not just giving all my money to the debt collectors. I'm giving it more to myself, and I have it for myself, and that's great.
Yeah, it's here too in Australia. Like I've noticed a lot of elderly people are using them as well. Credit card, and things break down in the house, end up using it, paying off just the minimum payment as well, because people, I've done it too, you can get away with that. And I feel the banks just especially elderly, oh yeah, put it on the credit card. Medical bills, put it on your credit card. Yeah, you can put Afterpay on the dental bill. It's the same thing here too. Yeah, I don't like it. I just stay away from that stuff, and
Yeah, that's for the best.
So
is it something new that happened in Australia, do you feel, or this is something that's been around for a while?
It's been around for a while, but the pandemic, it's become a huge thing.
Oh yeah.
But did you major in film? Did you? With your
Yes.
What did you play an instrument, or what did you do when you were studying?
So I'm actually a singer.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm a singer, and that's why I did musical theater, because I actually just wanted to go straight into film, but my parents felt if you're going to go down this path, which they were not happy about at all, but they said, if you're going to go down this path, at least try to get some classical theater training. And I went to a theater camp, and they did a musical that year. And so we did a musical, and they were like, oh, you have talent for this. And a lot of those teachers, and I have to really thank them, really helped cultivate dream and vision and the ability to work hard. So, and forgive me, there's people partying across the street because it's still the holidays. So, in that sense, in cultivating that vision and really thinking, okay, musical theater, I guess, is something I'm good at. This is what I need to go into. But I still had a passion for film. I love the idea of the media of film. I love the way set life to working on a set is also like, it almost feels like working on a ship. You know, it's like everyone, you have, crew. It's literally called the crew and production crew, and there are camera people here and there are grips there, and it's like everyone's doing their own thing to create a beautiful narrative, a beautiful story, a funny story, sometimes a not so great compelling story. So I fell in love with that art of storytelling, of narrative, but with that also came a lot of high stress performance. So that's how it's ironic because through my art, I found yoga as a way to kind of work and deal with the high stress environment that I was experiencing when it came to entertainment and performance, and sometimes I don't want to use the word perfection, but the subtextual, message of we need to get this as perfect as possible. That high stress level, I was like, I need yoga. I need to meditate. That's the only way that I can really focus and see myself being a part of something that I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, I was the same thing too, playing in the orchestra as well. Doing too many different things at once, and then having to do the academic side, and lots of late nights, not sleeping properly as well. And for when I finished my degree, for 2 years, never touched an instrument, never wrote anything down, just got fed up with it. But it was 2020, I started putting work on Spotify as well. Started my own production company, Shiels Productions, as an entrepreneur. Wasn't an easy decision, Liza. Not easy.
Yeah.
You know.
Simplify your federal agency's technology procurement with Connection Public Sector Solutions. Connection's dedicated account managers, commitment to exceptional customer service, and extensive catalog of federal contracts make IT purchases quick, easy, and affordable. Turn your challenges into opportunities and get rid of your technology pain points with Connection today. Learn more about what's possible with Connection Public Sector Solutions at connection.com/fedcontracts.
And I go to job interviews, and the boss would say, "Well, why aren't you doing something with music as well?" And yes, that's been my journey. And with yourself as an entrepreneur, how long have you been entrepreneur for?
I would say, as an artist, we are natural entrepreneurs because the life of an artist is a lot about, like I said, sometimes it's rolling with the punches, and that's whether you have consistent work, or that's if you whether have consistent work, or more importantly, if you have a lot of work 1 month and then no work for 2 or 3 months. So in that sense, you are consistently thinking about, okay, what can I do? What can I do? What's the next thing? And you're always kind of forward thinking, and you're always being creative. But that's also if you work on a job too. It's like, okay, how can I be creative? This just didn't work, or something happened, or we have a technical issue. What can we do to be super creative about it? So I feel in that sense, artistry, theater, music helps prepare an individual for an entrepreneurial lifestyle, because when you are an entrepreneur, like you said, it's a scary, hard decision. You take risks. You are consistently taking risks, and you're consistently thinking about what your why am I doing this? More importantly, who is this going to serve? So I feel in that sense, the artist's life, I've been an entrepreneur for a pretty long time. So when I slipped into wanting to take on yoga full time, just because completely fell in love with the business of it in a way I didn't expect, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this on. And it's a very similar environment to being an artist. You have people who are genuine and genuinely want to help, and you'll have individuals who are just in it for, the money or the recognition, and you'll have individuals who are very, very like hard workers, but there may be, in collaboration, there may be weaknesses that you both have to come across and you both have to recognize. So I think when it comes to being an artist, in 2017, I became a full-time yoga teacher. It was almost like the universe kind of prepared me for that journey and for that step of letting, I don't want to say letting go, but moving on, moving on from one part of my life and my passion, and being lucky enough to also find another aspect, which was very hard for me, because I was like, what? I'm just going to let go of something I'd worked on for so long to go to something else that's calling me. But that's the beauty of life. Isn't that, like, if you have a passion for multiple things, don't look at it as a detriment. Look at it as a blessing, because that means there's so many things you can do. There's so many things out there, and it's almost like getting another shot at falling in love all over again. So, yeah, I that's my journey with entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I can be honest with you. My first year as an entrepreneur, I've only made $15 this year. And I've only made $3 in royalties. First year beginner.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. My first year on Insight Timer, I think I got paid 20, I think it was months. I think I got like $20. And I was like, what is this? This is like, I didn't even know what was going on or what this was. Again, the role of an entrepreneur, sometimes your mind is focused on left and you have no idea what's happening on your right side. And so I think that's normal. But the cool thing is, if you made cash your first year, that's already a good sign. I personally feel that way.
Just want to drive the fancy car and the Rolls Royce, like you see on like the glamorous side to it as well. Nah, yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess.
Abundance mentality is that idea of like it'll keep coming. Like, there's more where that came from. If you made $15 this year, there's definitely going to be more where that came from. And I think that for an entrepreneur, it's very normal to want to get wrapped up in this idea of especially the modern day Instagram entrepreneur. It's almost like this glamorous thing. But in the past, entrepreneur used to be you were making something to try to sell to car salesmen, and it was completely different. Or the vacuum, or even for women it was the bra. It's just, you're consistently trying to prove to people, no, this can help you, this can serve you. And we forget that, right? In the modern day era with technology, we forget it wasn't that glamorous. It was pretty scrappy. So I feel if you were just starting out and you made $1, 25 cents, 2 cents, that's already a beautiful start, because that means that someone found value in your work, and there's more where that came from, because there'll be more people.
Yeah, it's something I guess I've had no choice to do. I just had to accept it. I always wanted to trade my time for money and get a full-time job, It seems now you can't rely on a full-time job anymore, And I hear too, it was Brian Tracy was saying that America's got a very entrepreneurial community or something like that. Is that true or not?
I'm actually going to have to agree with that. And I think there is a big reason behind that. Because America is, and I'm lucky enough to have been born and take this for granted a lot. From what I understand, I spoke to one of my friends who's from Denmark, and she said, in Denmark, you can't just quit your 9 to 5 and make rubber bands or like make rubber band art. Like that doesn't happen. Like that isn't something that is normal. But in the United States, there are people making a living off making their rubber band art. and that's just how the United States is. And I think, again, the reason for that is we come from a culture that when you have absolutely nothing and you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, what can you do? But we
Mm.
also have a sense of capitalist culture, which I don't really like all the time, but it's this constant idea of we need to buy things in order to feel really good, or we
Mm.
need to invest in something to feel really good. So with capitalism and sometimes that scrappy nature of there's nothing else, what can I do? What can I do to work through it? You sometimes get this entrepreneurial spirit. That being said, I don't think it should be solely an American thing, though I can understand why one would say it's very strong in American culture,
Mm.
specifically within women of culture, specifically within women, because a lot of the times as women, we don't get the opportunities from CEOs or bosses to help run the company.
Mm.
Sometimes we have to create our own company just because there are individuals out there who are like, no, they can't, or they rather give it to someone else.
Mm.
So in that sense, I think that is another reason why there is an entrepreneurial spirit, because at this point it's the idea of if you aren't going to hire me, if you aren't going to give me the opportunity, I'm going to make it happen.
Mm. Yeah, I suppose that's all you can do. Let's just think, bugger it and become an entrepreneur, I guess. I think better it's going to work out for me long term. I think. I think it's better.
I think it's better too.
Like as a musician, you got Hollywood as well. You got all the big film companies. Have you ever tried to get into Hollywood?
There was a time.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time when, and even more than Hollywood, I was obsessed with the Cannes Film Festival. I was like, oh my God, if I ever get a part in the movies in Cannes, that's it. Like I've completely, made it in that sense. But when you start actually doing the work and you see what these A-list actors are putting themselves through and the sacrifices they're making, you recognize it is the idea of Hollywood, the glamour is not really true at all. Again, working on a film set is a lot like working on a ship. And though the ship looks really beautiful on the outside, it's a lot of people putting sweat, blood, and tears into the projects. So I think there are ways where people can get wrapped up in the illusion, and I talked about in the course, the Maya of Hollywood. But I think more importantly, there is a lot of work that and sacrifices that go in for these performers, these actors, these directors, these producers. So there was a time where I was like, oh, I would absolutely love to be recognized for my work. I would love to have that validation. But again, that began to transform when I started working actually in the business, and I started getting small little opportunities to really see what goes into making a TV show, what goes into making a film. And I started questioning, I don't know. There's this. I remember telling my mom. I said, "Mom, but what am I doing for others? How am I helping others? How am I serving society? I love the art. I love it. But there's this weird gut feeling that's telling me there's something maybe more out there." And that feeling, I but definitely got realized when I decided to kind of take on the role. More importantly, not role. Take on the journey of being a full-time wellness leader and a meditation and yoga teacher. So that was my journey. It's very interesting because it's almost like biting into the fruit of knowledge. It looks really nice and you think you want it and it's like, oh, that's so delicious, but it may not be what you actually want. It may be something else. And I think what I needed at that time was just to be recognized for my hard work. And I kind of went on the journey of, I think it's important to recognize yourself, to find pride in yourself, because even if you can serve one person and they say, thank you so much, that really, really served me, then that's it. I think that's the best validation one can get. And I think within the illusion of Hollywood or celebrity, we see so many people passing out and crying when they see celebrity. And it's that desire of being recognized, being wanted, being cared for. So a lot of these stars, you'll hear them speak and they've had their ups and downs too. They've had their lows, some worse than the average person. So I think we need to really be honest with ourselves when looking at the idea of celebrity and Hollywood and glamour, and ask ourselves, what do we really want, though? What is really behind this? What's the reality of this? And do we really truly want this, or is it something in a different, similar, but it's in a different energetical field?
Yeah, because you look at Hollywood, you got Dwayne Johnson, who's a wrestler. I highly admire him. I've got his headphones, and then you got John Cena as well. I was watching. Did you watch wrestling growing up?
I did not.
Mm-hmm.
I know Dwayne Johnson though.
And then you got Dave Bautista coming from wrestling. They all gone into Hollywood. Now, do you feel that since they were wrestling on TV, they had it sort of much easier to get into Hollywood as well? Because John Cena played in the Bumblebee movie. Dwayne Johnson, God, he's been in Need for Speed and G.I. Joe and Hercules. And Batista's gone into some stuff.
Yes, I think it's very interesting. From what I hear, Dwayne Johnson had to work very hard. And my favorite examples was when you hear Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter, who had to work so hard to break himself of that, how people saw him. And I think maybe Dwayne Johnson, in terms of working really hard, had to go through something similar. I think Matthew McConaughey just came out with his book, and he said something similar as well, where he had to break the past vision of how people saw him and reinvent himself. And it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of risk. And again, the entrepreneurial spirit, you have to take the risk and recognize, I may not eat for a while, I may not get food for a while, it may not be as easy, but it's worth the vision. It's worth my overall, what I want to give, what I want to leave this planet, or leave on this planet. So I don't want to say that for Dwayne Johnson that it was easy, but I think maybe there were things that came easier than maybe other performers or other people.
Yeah, he tried to play gridiron, is it? What do you call it over there? Gridiron or NFL, American football?
Oh, NFL.
Yeah. He got rejected on that as well, and then went into wrestling. And because I like wrestling, and I was watching him since I was a kid, so I thought I'd bring him up as well. Yeah, look, the thing as an entrepreneur, for me, is you always want to eat food. That's what I think. I've heard of entrepreneurs going so broke they can't even afford to go to a restaurant. No, I'm lucky in my situation. I can, and that's what's good, and with Hollywood as well. I've heard, like, if you don't have the look, but you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the look thereafter, they don't accept you, which is a shame, I think, for some people.
I agree.
It's
I
like
agree.
that.
That is a shame.
In music as well, no matter how talented you are, but if they don't find you marketable, the record company doesn't want to take you on.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have to work extra hard because of that. I think Meryl Streep too, she spoke a little bit about that, how she had to overcome her look because agents literally told her, there's no way you're going to be hired. There's no way anyone is going to want to hire you for a movie role or a leading lady. And she had to literally work extra hard to prove herself and say, yes, no, I'm an actor, and this is what I'm meant to do, and this is my vision, and this is my journey. So yes, there are people that can break through those awful stigmas, pretty much awful stigmas. But they prove that when you do have an extraordinary amount of talent, there are these ways to navigate and say no. I can do it. So I think it's important that, yes, the industry is very biased in that sense, music and film, but I think it is possible for maybe there should be more, but for those who are willing to really commit and have the talent, I think there is a road somewhere. I have hope in that sense. If there's a Meryl Streep who was told there was no way she was going to work, and she's one of I feel one of the greatest actresses of our time, then in that sense, I think it's possible for another person out there who's been told there's no way you're going to work because of your nose or because of your eyes or whatever the case is, or the color of your skin, whatever the case is, and they push through and say, but if I manage to just stick to it, and I know I have the talent for it, and I know I can do it, and eventually someone gives you the chance to prove yourself.
Yeah, look, I've found too. I've tried out for an acting audition, but I'm a music composer as well. I got rejected. I remember my first audition. I read the script back to front because I've never acted before, Lisa. Do you have to memorize your scripts?
Yes. Well, for an audition, it's lovely if you have done some work on it. That's one thing that people actually, it's a misconception, Sometimes you go into the audition room and you're like, I don't know if these people want me to fall on my face. And if you've done the work and you present the character in your way, they're just looking for, even if you are a top-notch actor, they're just looking for someone who can really represent the part that the writers, the directors, the producers, the whole vision of this crew, this whole team working together. If you can go and represent that part, even in your interpretation, even maybe challenge some of their own ideas on what the character should look like or will look like. I think in that sense, you're doing of service, even if you're not the type or you worked really hard on it, but you didn't get it. You didn't even get like a call back for it. As long as you do your work and you understand the character to a sense going in, then that's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, I guess acting's really not for me, to be honest. I'd rather just write music for the film or the video game or do a voiceover. But no, it was good to have a go as a musician to try it. Another thing too I've noticed with the United States is a very big YouTube community over there as well. I've got work on YouTube, but do you find it's much easier to get hits on YouTube?
Defining the term easy, I think the online world and community, and again, maybe I'm biased because I've always been fascinated with it. It's just different because you're not trying to prove to a middleman that you're worthy of doing the work. You just do the work and you put it out there, and the world itself, says I vibe or I don't. And there are many people out there, which I love. Again, I love about the internet. There are people that I don't agree with, I would not follow, but have huge cult followings. And I think that's important in our modern day society. I think it's important that we have not just one flavor of someone in the media or one type of person that's recognized for their hard work. The internet, in that sense, levels the playing field. YouTube levels the playing field. So I think in that sense, it's way easier.
Is it true over there in like LA, people are making an actual living doing YouTube?
It's true everywhere. Yeah, for sure. It's true.
Very hard in Australia to make a huge living. Like my channel's only got 50 subscribers in 6 months. Again, it's getting that traffic, but yeah, that's pretty cool that people can do that, make a living off YouTube.
I think it's I like to call it, when it comes to starting an online business, it's actually, YouTube is an investment, I think. Entrepreneurs, and even, again, like, you can do art, whatever it is your passion is, it is an investment, a long-term investment that you consistently add and you grow. And whether it's people you connect with, potential clients, whether it's a company that loves seeing your work and says, we'd love you to collaborate with us on a project, I think as you continue to work and chip away, it will eventually come to fruition. I think it was Simon Sinek who said that our successes are made up of a bunch of small wins, and then our failures are made up of a bunch of small losses. So you want to make sure that you are always getting in just a little small win. And I feel that's what it's like when you're just starting out on YouTube. It's like those 50 subscribers are actually, 50 small wins and successes. So I think if one keeps working at it, keeps chipping away at the sculpture, for lack of a better word, I think eventually a beautiful piece will come out.
It's just struggling to get the whole keywords. I know, because YouTube has an algorithm now, and getting the whole search engine optimization, which is that's again not my field. I know I'm using something called TubeBuddy. Have you heard of that?
I'm actually using a similar program. I believe it's called vidIQ.
Yep, I've tried that.
Yeah.
How do you find that with your work?
I like SEO, which is so weird to hear from, I love SEO. I love the idea that I can type in the word meditation, and then from meditation, you can put morning meditation, then you can put 5-minute meditation, then you can put meditation, to raise your vibration, meditation for positivity, meditation for heartbreak, and then you end up having a 5-minute morning meditation to raise your vibration after a breakup. And I think that's so fascinating that you can put in these keywords and narrow it down. Yes, it's a pain in the butt. It's such a pain in the butt to, find these things. But I also think it's pretty fascinating because, again, one of the young women I connected with, she found me just by typing into the search engine, yoga to raise your vibration. And I find that so fascinating that you can type that in and find someone that the algorithm thinks is a close keyword match. So I think in that sense, keywords are like the directions to people finding you. It's like, just make a left here and make a right there, and there you go.
Yeah, that's something that I've struggled with, because I like to type into the computer how I speak, how to do such and such and such, but apparently Google doesn't like that. So yeah, search engine optimization is a completely new thing for me as well. Yeah.
It'll get easier for sure.
With TubeBuddy, using vidIQ, are you, or TubeBuddy?
Yes.
vidIQ.
vidIQ.
Yeah. Do you find like it's easy for you to put all your tags and your keywords in for YouTube?
For me, yes, because the power is in the content. So for example, you used a great example of how to, and that's great because it's very, very specific. And I think that's what SEO really loves, the tool of SEO. They really love specifics. The more specific you can get, the better. So I think in that sense, vidIQ has helped me, just because I'll put in the title and I'll put very specific keywords. For example, a manifestation video to release fear. And I will specifically put in yoga for manifestation, yoga, and immediately a bunch of keywords will kind of come up and say, this may work with your video.
Yeah, look, Liza, it was a fantastic interview with you today. Where can people find you on social media and your YouTube channel?
You can find me on @Liza Colpa for my Instagram, and then you can find me on Liza Colpa for my YouTube. It's just my name. And then worst comes to worst, www.lizacolpa.com, and you'll find all my work there.
And do you have any live streams coming up on Insight Timer, or any future courses?
I do. I have a live stream I try to do every single weekend. So I just had one last night about trusting your journey, and I'll be doing a new one on abundance mentality in the future. So we have a few coming up.
Hike the trail? Check. Order takeout? Check. Schedule heart checkup? Done. We've all adapted to a new way of living. Keep your healthcare on schedule with Johns Hopkins Medicine, where your health and safety are our highest priorities. We're ready to care for you through virtual and in-person visits across Maryland and the greater Washington region. Your health, our experts, safely caring for you. Schedule your care now. Learn more at hopkinsmedicine.org/safe.
The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it the rest of the way home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task. But nothing worth doing is easy.
Wake up and pair any one of these sweet, fluffy, frittery bakery treats with a McCafe iced coffee. Get any size and any flavor for just 99 cents until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.